Hi, I'm Reb Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 43 years. I'm going through the lessons again this year, asking Jesus for clarity, and then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So we're looking at lesson 253. Myself is ruler of the universe. It is impossible that anything should come to me unbidden by myself. Even in this world, it is I who rule my destiny. What happens is what I desire. What does not occur is what I do not want to happen. This must I accept, for thus am I led past the world to my creations, children of my will, in heaven where my holy self abides with them and him who has created me. You are the self whom you created, Son, creating like yourself and one with you. Myself, which rules the universe, is but your will in perfect union with my own, which can but offer glad assent to yours, that it may be extended to itself. What an extraordinary lesson this is. It echoes lesson 152, the power of decision is my own. In both these lessons, we're being told that we are powerful creators and that even in the world of time, we are deciding our own experience. In 152, we're told that salvation is a recognition that truth is true and nothing else is true. Jesus is telling us the truth when he says that we are the rulers of the universe, as hard as that might seem to be to believe. And if nothing but the truth is true, then the belief that we are victims and unfairly treated must not be true. I gladly shake off that old belief and refuse to pick it back up. The temptation remains, however, so as with every ego thought, I must be vigilant and focused. Here's an example of how we can rule our destiny. Let's imagine that you go to a family get together and you overhear your cousin gossiping about you to another family member. You thought the two of you were close and are hurt to be so betrayed. There are different ways you can react to this situation, and the reaction you choose will determine your experience in this life. You can choose to be angry and hurt, or maybe even retaliate and thus cause a rift in the family. On the other hand, you might choose to look at your belief in betrayal, realize how destructive that belief is, and ask the Holy Spirit to correct your perception of the situation. Having done so, you forgive the whole thing and continue to enjoy your outing. On reflection, you might even find the whole thing funny and wonder why it upset you. Another way to look at the situation is to realize that your reaction indicates a judgment of the cousin. Suppose you have learned that you no longer want to judge because it just increases your sense of separation. In that case, this ceases to be an uncomfortable situation and becomes an important healing opportunity. You might decide to ask the Holy Spirit to judge for you, in which case he will find everyone innocent. The problem disappears because the cause has been debunked. Once again, your experience of this life is different than it might have been, happier, more peaceful, and more loving. Let's look at the first sentence. It is impossible that anything should come to me unbidden by myself. One might wonder then, how is it that you caused your cousin to gossip about you? You might then ask yourself if you've ever gossiped about someone or in some way betrayed a confidence. Or have you ever said something that hurt another person deliberately or just thoughtlessly? This matters because what we do to others, we will experience in ourselves. As we look at this imagined situation from different perspectives, perhaps we can begin to get a bit of an understanding of how the world is a product of our beliefs, projected as stories. We project them, judge them, determine what they mean, and suffer the consequences if our ego influences our beliefs. In other words, we are the rulers of our little universe. Clearly, we need to choose our thoughts and beliefs carefully. It can be hard to accept that all situations and experiences are in my life because I want them there. As Jesus says, what happens is what I desire. When I consider this, I often think I must be insane. Well, according to the Course, that is indisputable. It mentions insanity more times than I want to count. It also says this: the Holy Spirit will restore your sanity because insanity is not the will of God. He tells us that in chapter 13, section 11. If I see signs that I have desired that which hurts me, I know what to do about it. He also says in that section, you will not keep what God would have removed because it breaks communication with you with whom he would communicate. His voice will be heard. We are safe and our reality is assured. I pay attention to my mind because I want to be happy and peaceful now. And more than anything, I want to awaken. I report what I learn as I learn it, and I report my errors so that I can explain how I learned it. I used to be reluctant to share that I wasn't perfect because I was afraid of being judged and not being accepted. Now I understand that there are very few perfect people, and I have lost interest in defending my image. I make lots of mistakes, and I correct them as soon as I can. The correction is what matters. It is essential that I recognize my errors and accept that I make them. How can anything be healed if I'm in denial of what needs healing? It is my function to accept that I have made a fundamental error, which has caused the world of time and space to take root in my mind. Once accepted, it can be undone. And he tells us in this lesson, this must I accept, for thus am I led past this world to my creations, children of my will, in heaven where my holy self abides with them and with him who created me. When I sit with this final thought, I feel the invitation to surrender to the truth that I am more than this passing dream. My creations, children of my will, are not the fleeting stories I spin in this world, but eternal extensions of love itself. The Course is reminding me that the moment I accept responsibility for my mind, I am also accepting the way back home. Each choice for forgiveness, each release of judgment is a step out of the world I made and into the reality that never left me. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another reading. See you then.